pam 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 pam. Tin, 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 tin. Is my mic on?
Yes.
Oh, why it sounds so far? It's okay. Hello, hello everybody. Who's watching right
Mooi van
now?
ver.
Huh?
Maar ver van mooi. Yo.
I don't take offense because I've got confidence in myself.
Yo.
I'm my own biggest fan, says the narcissist. But anyway, hi guys. I promise I'm not narcissistic. I might be extroverted, and I might be what do they call it?
We're not
In
doubtful at all.
psychology. They say that like people generally narcissists are people who are extroverted. Generally, obviously, it's not like the thing. Extroverted and who are highly disagreeable. So, but there's other factors as well that's more pertinent. So I don't
Okay, we'll go
have
with that.
any of those. No, I'm not. You guys know me.
We didn't say that. We just said we'll go with
No,
that.
the way you're saying it's like, okay, fine, yeah. We'll go with it.
That's
But
not
hi
narcissistic.
guys, hi. Welcome to the Wednesday warm-up. I'm your host Lee, and I'm joined by Trusses. Hi guys, Jesse. Hi, you ready for summer?
Yo.
I'm trying to rap.
Try the chippy out. Take the chippy out. Nah, I'm good,
See, who still
Lee.
says chappy? It's chewing gum.
Oh, sorry, I thought it's bubble gum.
No, it's gum.
It's stumro. Nah, I'm good. Yeah, not too bad. Everything's well on my side. Life's going on. Things are hopefully gonna balance one day or another.
No, soon. Expectation.
Soon and very
Expectation.
soon. Expectation.
Watch your words,
I'm watching it.
please.
Watching it.
Things are already balancing. That's how you speak.
Yeah, I have like a cold feeling on this side. Man. I think I have a spoko on my right.
What's the score? Me going krr.
Spook.
Okay.
Yeah, spoko. You can talk and introduce yourself.
We'll somehow go over to you, Anka. Hi, welcome back. Thank you for joining us once again on the Wednesday warm-up.
Why, thank you.
It's a pleasure having you here.
It's a pleasure to be.
Anything exciting happened this week?
No.
Well, you had a scary incident.
Well, I did have something exciting happen this weekend, yes. Or this week, rather, yeah.
Not
So-
you.
Well, it's my home ground, and it's where I go when I go and
There's
visit my family.
familiarity.
And I grew up in that space.
When you came back, you were a bit different.
Oh, go away. So growing up in the house that we lived in, we had like a paranormal activity. So we'd used I used to switch off the lights and close the cupboards, whatever. So when you'd wake up at night to do whatever, you'd always see him like walking around like in the corner. You know, in the corner, yeah, you see there he runs or whatever.
Are you sure he identifies as a him? Are you
You
misgendering
know,
him?
Stevie is a unisex name, which is why I went with Stevie.
Okay.
Yeah, and I gave him that name.
Unisex?
So
He's
and
non-binary.
yeah,
Oh,
non-binary. So we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Or once you say Zay and Zem, I'm not sure.
Zeman and Zayman.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. Whichever one tickles your fancy in any case.
Demon and demon self.
So,
It is demon and demon self
Self, it
because
is.
that is that world.
and yeah, he's back. Oh, Zem or Demon Self is back now.
Okay.
Yeah, and
But he
showed us
same
some
same vicinity.
same vicinity, the same building. Only this time it's caught on camera,
And the thing is,
which is creepy.
Zay like
Don't say
Zay.
Zay, please. Please don't say Zay.
demon likes the lights.
He likes the lights. He likes the lights and switching on and off the lights.
And
And
he clearly has
literally,
money because when you walked past that ATM machine, it lit up.
Bro, hopefully he's
Well, the card
purchasing.
machine.
Hopefully it
we're
is
hoping
purchasing.
we're hoping
And
they're
helping the
purchasing.
business.
Yes, we're going with that. We're going with that.
We're going with is a good day.
I mean,
Yeah.
last week we spoke about scamming. As long as it is not scamming
Yeah,
you guys,
Us,
you know.
us who are the real legit. people.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Hello, Zay.
Well, X has his feelings about it. He says it's a spider.
No, he's been debunking it since yesterday.
I've been debunking it.
What do you think, Xavier?
I think if you put either a cobweb or a bug in front of a camera like that, it goes out of focus. So then it tears that it looks so something.
grainy
It
or
makes it like a grainy
blurry.
thing, especially in moving. So
Because you
so
can't see
that-
the actual object, you just see like
Yeah, you just see like something moving. So
But then how do you
Because it's too
explain
close.
the lights going on?
that's the part I can't.
You
explain.
see,
but
you
the other
see.
part I can explain.
Thank you, Leandra.
Because for
And
me,
the-
I was
And
also
I
like,
was also, but when I saw the card machine also go on, I was like, okay, maybe he's making
bro,
transactions.
and the fridge light.
so here's a story with the
Yeah, the
fridge
fridge
light.
light.
So the
That
fridge
is crazy.
before when everyone locks up for the night, they switch off the fridge at the plug. So it's not
Yes.
one of those things that regulate and go on and off during the night or whatever. It's
Okay.
switched off for the night. So it only gets switched on the next morning when someone actually comes into the butchery and switches it on. But this is 3 in the morning.
Unless,
Yes.
because I heard this morning on the radio that we it's the same thing, but
Yeah.
on this morning I heard that we're going to have load shedding during Christmas. And I've heard that we're gonna they predict that it's going to be 6 to 12 months of constant load shedding, the continuation thereof.
Yeah.
So maybe, and they said that the other countries that are using ESCOM that also utilize the
The coal and
from ESCOM. So international clients of ESCOM like Namibia are also going to be experiencing outages. But that also doesn't explain because the lights were switched off. It's not as if there was load shedding and the lights came back on.
Yeah, also, the cameras and everything was working the whole time.
That's
Also,
the thing.
also we don't, Namibia doesn't experience outages. So,
But they said you guys are going to.
are going to, which means it hasn't happened
Yes,
yet.
but that's what I'm saying.
So for me, a random light that needs to be switched on at the plug just randomly goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Stevie's busy, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's definitely giving paranormal activity. But yes, we've got some of our famo in the comment section over there. Do you just want to greet?
Lori saying good morning, famo. And then
Good
we have
morning.
Our brother Juan saying good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you, lovely people.
Good morning to the
so
folks.
glad
What
that
up
you
to the
guys have
young'uns?
joined
Bless up
us.
to the world.
I'd also like to ask you to please participate. Once again, this we accept opposing viewpoints as well. And if you've got something to add to the conversation that might be beneficial, or even if you just if you feel like it's not beneficial or you second guess yourself, just put it in the comment section. We're gonna deal with it. We're gonna address it. We will speak about it. It might be a differing viewpoint that will facilitate us in also discovering this topic that we are discussing.
Discussing
Okay.
discussions.
Yeah. So we are speaking about a gender-free South Africa. We are on our way there, guys. And
sad
it's
reality.
very interesting to see what is happening, the developments that's happening in our country. We hear about it in America. We hear about it in Western countries. Definitely not in your Eastern and in your Asian and even in your African countries. There's still a strong pushback, obviously, against homosexuality. A very, very strong pushback on the extreme spectrum of right-wing conservatism. But we'll get to that, your opinions on that. But I just want to read the headline that sparked this topic, right? And it was posted in IOL. On IOL, so that's iol.co.za, but I did put the link in the description as a reference for you to go and look at it yourself. It was written by Kayleen Pillay, and the title is as follows: New gender guidelines push for unisex toilets in schools to embrace inclusivity. And then the logline says, the tagline says, a document outlining the Department of Basic Education's guidelines for the inclusion of different gender identities in schools and circulated among a limited audience this week. This was posted on the 4th of November. Has revealed a range of proposals, including encouraging schools to install unisex toilets. Then it continues, the intro says, the guidelines proposed are reportedly an attempt to become more inclusive and move away from gender norms in order to accommodate transgender and non-binary children. In an article published by The South African, some of the guidelines set out by the Department of Basic Education include the following. Number 1, schools will soon be required to provide genderless or unisex toilets and changing rooms. Number 2, individual stalls, gendered bathroom signs, and more cubicles are touted as a solution. Teachers are to be, number 3, teachers are to be told they must avoid gender segregating by splitting classes, lines, or groups into boys and girls. Number 4, the provision of gender-neutral uniforms must also be made available to all pupils who require them. Number 5, dead naming will also be outlawed. That means a student identifying with a different gender cannot be called by their previous name. The guideline which aims to combat discrimination have already sparked some debate, including that of a more conservative political group known as the Freedom Front Plus, the FF Plus. In a statement, the FF Plus MP and spokesperson on basic education, Dr. Wynand Boshoff, said the executive authority provided vague replies to the party's questions about the matter. He questioned how unisex toilets could be installed while many schools were still using latrines. Further, Boshoff said that the observation of the FF Plus was that the ideology of radical individualism was attempting to take control over education. The general opinion is that every person is a free-floating individual who has a choice in everything, and in this case, even their gender. According to radical individualism, community norms restrict the individual. Self-fulfillment can only be achieved once those norms are abolished. Moreover, the only appropriate response from the family members of the community is to support the individual's choices. The FF Plus, however, has a different view of a person's place in the world, says Boshoff. According to the party statement, an individual person is inconceivable without the community and is in fact literally conceived by the community. Communities are made up of families and extended families and ultimately form part of even larger communities, both cultural and political. An orderly society cannot exist without community norms, and yet within the community there are exceptions. People whose personal identities do not conform to the general community norms. A totalitarian community that forcefully imposes its norms is indeed not ideal. I'm going to repeat that. A totalitarian community that forcefully imposes its norms is indeed not ideal. In a caring and functional community, exceptions are recognized and respected, but still considered exceptions. Every aspect of the community, from marriage to bathrooms at schools, cannot be reconceptualized as if the exception is the norm. And to Mr. Boshoff, I personally want to say congratulations. The way that you articulated it from the onset of this conversation, I, for one, agree with Dr. Boshoff, Wynand Boshoff. Open to you guys. What is your, your opinions, of course you have, on this matter? Gender-free toilets.
For me personally, right, I think we're living in this world where the LGBT community has become authoritarian, have become almost
dictatorship.
Almost have a dictatorship basically on our belief system. And I think part of the reason that they have got that air about the situation is because they were allowed all these years to get away with us just kind of being quiet, because I can tell you majority of people, over 90% of the world's population is not gay or lesbian or bi or whatever the case might be. There's a lot of people that are now starting to kind of trying to build this momentum of this thing, simply because of the situation where it's a matter of like, hey, this is the popular thing to do, this is what everyone is doing, this is kind of the direction that the world is going, so we must now just say, yeah, we agree. But there's a lot more people that are starting to come out of the woodwork saying, but actually we don't agree. And actually, if you want to do you, then do you, but then please don't force it on other people who don't necessarily agree with that mindset or with that process or whatever. So what are we saying? The second you disagree and say, but guys, hold on, what's the pitfalls of this? Because now you're giving a free pass to a boy to go into a girl's toilet and molest a girl or rape the girl or do whatever the case might be. You're giving him a free pass to say, okay, There's it, brah. Gooi jou. And nobody's allowed to say anything, because the second you say something, that authoritarian kind of mindset that approach is then exercised. Like, hey, who are you? Don't come in.
It becomes discrimination.
It becomes, you're discriminating and this. So there's no room for conversation.
You know, with all of that said, can we address rape culture first? You were reading an article earlier about 90% of rapes that they occur in gender neutral toilets, right? Facilities, right?
Which include toilets, change rooms, and just any gender neutral
facility. So let's bring it back home. Let's bring it back to South Africa. What are the stats? Now, clearly we're not good with stats here in South Africa, but in the past, just before the show started, just in 5 minutes alone, I came across 3 articles of boys aged anywhere from 13 to 16 that are raping girls at school in the toilets.
Yes.
But in the world, we sit third when it comes to rape.
Exactly. So then also this past weekend, we were at a baby shower, and this person she's a teacher at a school in Eldos, at a primary school in Eldos. Their biggest problem is children having sex in toilets. This is under 13 years, right? But now we want to have gender neutral toilets where we really we want to protect our girls, right? So here's the thing. Yes, we want to be more inclusive. All the offenses take place, or it's what the most dangerous place or whatever for the kids who are transgender or whatever, who is a minority. So we want to create a bigger problem by creating exclusivity. So if it's going to happen in a boys' toilet alone, what makes you think it's not going to happen in a gender-neutral toilet? Because everyone is welcome then in there.
Yeah.
So why are we exposing the vulnerable? Who are the girls? Who is the majority of the people children who is in danger here? So how is that solving a problem by creating a bigger problem? Because we want to be inclusive. I'm sorry, but this is a very upsetting topic for me.
For you, Jace?
For me, it just doesn't make sense. Last month, Cyril Ramaphosa shows up at a women's business summit, and he has a whole big speech there about how we're going to put money aside for women seeking businesses and all that type of things. But now you're doing something like this, which to me is kind of contradicting, because now you're basically taking away from the woman at the same time and saying, okay, we're going to go with what the world's saying. It's different things in terms of business and stuff, but yet we're still taking away from women, because now you have men that are also becoming women and identifying as women, but they're receiving it. But it is still a man that's receiving it at the end of the day. He's just identifying as a woman. So for me, it's like, it makes no sense. And like Anka was saying, the whole statistics, I think in South Africa it's like 79% rape. That's what we're sitting at. On top, first is Botswana, then Lesotho, then South Africa. And we're sitting around about 79%. To me, it makes no sense why you just add to the problem then by making gender-neutral toilets. Because, I mean, you're basically saying, okay, here's opportunity. You can go in. Where now, at least, if you see a gent walking into a woman's toilet, it's like, okay,
someone
that's not right.
Yeah.
Someone can still stop you. You can still. Now it's normal. Now you just walk in. It's like, okay, it's a normal thing. You don't know what's going to happen there inside. Now... Every time a woman has to go to the toilet, now she must take a man with her.
So what happens? So what happens is this, right? I watched this interview probably 3 or 4 times, and Anka keeps asking me every time I put it on. She's like, "Are you watching that again?" And it's about that Sergeant General from Canada. He was did you see that thing? He was like a big thing in the Canada Air Force and whatever else. He was the main pilot. He has pictures there with the Queen and everything else, flying different, heads of state around and all of this. And then we were staying in a place called Ontario, Tweed, Ontario, or something like that, right? And then as time went, the girls' panties started going missing, and they didn't know if they must report it or what, but this one girl is like, okay, my panties are gone in my drawer. She doesn't know where panties are, lingerie and things. Then later on, there's another person that came forward and said, hey, there's lingerie and things missing here in my drawer and things, and I don't know. Then the first case started, where they found a dead girl in in her house. Then they didn't know what happened and whatever. It's on YouTube, right? And they show the interrogation of how they slowly unpack the question, how they questioning him and asking him, so what happened? How did you get to this place? How did that happen? How did that happen? Then they found a dead body. Then they didn't piece it together. Then they found another dead body and it's only like pretty young girls. And then when they then they couldn't find the body. It went missing. Then they started putting up posters on the street post to say, this girl is missing, this girl is missing, this girl is missing. Then the one guy drove past the house and saw the police and everything standing around the house. Then he stopped and then he asked the police, yo, what's happening here? Then they said, nah, this is the girl that's gone missing, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, no, when did she go missing? Then they said, nah, we saw she went missing. We think it's about 2 nights ago or something. That's the last time people say they spoke to her and whatever. Then he said, nah, there was a bakkie standing outside here. They call it most a truck in America. There was a truck standing outside here. Then they said, really? Then they went next to the house. Then they took the truck tracks of the size of the truck and whatever else. Then they did roadblocks. And when they did roadblocks, the sergeant drove through the roadblock, but he didn't know that they're measuring his tires and things. Sure. Then they came to find out that it's the same tire tracks, the same footprints, everything. Then they must now corner him. Then when they start asking him, bruh, is this murders linked between this girl, that girl? Hey, then you must watch the whole interrogation. Then he started breaking it up into saying, yeah, it is linked and blah, 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 blah. So that pervert kind of spirit where he goes into the women's bathrooms, he hides in the girls' closets, he goes into the girls' rooms and sits in the closet for a long time. So when the lady comes and undresses, she doesn't know, like peeping Tom, he's sitting and looking. Now imagine, bruh, like what Jesse was saying, you giving men the right to go into a woman's toilet, bruh. Imagine the perverts. People who are addicted to pornography, people who are catching on people. We have a big rape culture in South Africa as it stands.
Yeah.
Now you're telling a man, free pass, you can go into the woman's toilet. Imagine the amount of men that are now going to changing rooms, whatever else, that are now going to record the woman peeing. Or, brothers, there's people with deprived minds here outside. Don't even get it twisted. And we as a government, we're saying, we're giving you a free pass. You can dial how you want to. Now imagine that women in South Africa already feeling like...
Always feeling
already
unsafe.
feeling like
a deer
unsafe.
in headlights, like all the
now
time.
You're saying a man can come in my toilet while I'm peeing. How does that make sense, bro?
Can I tell you something that happened to me one day? I was in the toilet, and there's only 2 cubicles. It's so small toilets. It's not like so there's male and female. And I was in the cubicle, whatever, and I was on my period. I mean, we're speaking now, right? And so obviously, there's sounds when you're opening up your tampon or you're opening up your pad or whatever. There's sounds and that's the reason why you do it among females, because, they
understand. And
there's already a stigma around all of that. And then the argument is, but then you break the stigma. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to just be breaking stigmas around that. But then I was busy, right? And then I heard male voices in the toilet. I was so scared to go out of my cubicle. I was sitting in my cubicle for almost 5 minutes until those males left, because I was just busy changing my sanitary equipment, right? My sanitary wear. I was just busy doing that. And there's men. Can you imagine the embarrassment? Now I must walk out and they all look at me, because that's what happened. Eventually they left. But as I walked out, they were all like staring at me like...
Exactly, and you don't want everyone to know your business. You don't. I don't want some random person to know it's that time of the month or whatever. That's why it's a female thing. Yes, we must destigmatize, because yes, it happens. All women have to, have to menstruate and all of that. But that doesn't mean I want everyone to know what is happening when, which time of the month.
Exactly.
I mean, that's personal.
Jace, you want to get into the comments before we continue?
So we have Annalise saying that, and they're forcing their beliefs on others, which is complete madness. Keegan says that wants to force this on 99% who don't even care about this. And then Shalom Bank says, yes, we should have the conversation, but as a country, do we have other more pressing issues to be resolved before we entertain this? Then Veronica says, my biggest problem with this is the access men have to little girls now in the bathrooms in public places. As a mother, this boils my blood.
As a father, I have 2 girls. It's also like
doesn't matter where we are. My girls will never go to the bathroom alone. Never, never, never. Even and this was so. It's so ingrained, and I think here in SA it's worse. Living in Joburg, it's like you constantly a deer in headlights. Like you constantly have to check. So when I went back home to Namibia, and it was a while back, and we were with I was with my brother's kids and all of that, and they went. Now they're about what 13, 12, and 13, and they went to the bathroom. But my mind just won't relax at Spur. We were at Spur in Namibia, and my mind just won't relax as much as it is a more calm environment. These things aren't as common.
Sure.
I was like, no,
Remember
why?
what happened at Dross?
Exactly. Why isn't anybody going with him? So I got up and went with him because my mind just can't relax. Anything can happen. And even just the close proximity of the doors just being opposite each other where the men go in here. And it's the same thing when we travel and we're going, doing road trips, and, you have to go in the service station, the engines or whatever. Those toilet doors are literally, it's easy for someone to slip in, given that there is a lot of traffic going on and all of that, which minimizes it. But just the psychological aspect of it. And when that story broke of that 7-year-old girl at Dross, was it in Pretoria?
I can't remember.
So I remember, it baffles me that parents still allow their small kids to just go to the bathroom by themselves. Like I can't fathom it. I really can't.
But one of what Sheldon was saying there about, as a country, we don't have electricity. Now it's going to be Christmas, we don't even have electricity. The rape culture is a problem in our country. The petrol is through the roof. This is not America, bruh.
Yeah.
And this is what irritates me about Cyril and these people. This is not America. America, and this is why I'm so happy about that Kenyan president that said, you people have your issues, nah?
Yeah.
We have different issues, bro. We can't be debating men and women toilets and LGBT. That's first world problems, bro. We're struggling here with rape culture. We're struggling here with the high petrol. We're struggling here with the corruption. We're struggling with potholes in the road. We're struggling with a basic thing like electricity, bro. You come in here with first world problems, because that is a first world problem. If you want to be gay, if you want to be lesbian, if you want to think that you are a unicorn, whatever it is, your depraved mind, you wake up in the morning and decide you want to be something else, that's on you. That's on you. We have no problem with you doing you. But then do you. Don't come and force your things on the rest of society. That's first world problems. And that's why that president, where that reporter asked him, so do you have a problem with gays? He said, yes, I have a big problem with it. Because you Western countries are forcing your narratives on us here. We have our own problems that we have to deal with. If you want to be gay, if you want to be lesbian, to each their own. Enjoy yourself there. But then don't come and force your things on the rest of society. Do you and do it.
But this is also just adding on to the problem, because like you said, now we have load shedding, all those type of things.
Now we must worry about your child.
100%. And you also notice now with load shedding, crime statistics increase.
Because they know the cameras are not working.
100%.
The electric
so what more are you going to add to the rape culture in South Africa by this now? By having gender neutral toilets. The lights is off now. We must still go in the toilets with the men and the women. You don't know who's coming in and out.
I just feel like South Africa as a whole just likes the drama. They just like the drama, because there's just so much going on. Where I was saying the other day, South Africa is following suit. If America decides to sneeze, then we must just have the flu. We must just have the flu all year round. Yeah. Because they now decided to do something that side. And the reality of the matter, the demographics is different. Our cultures are different, first of all. And secondly, our value systems, I just feel, is fundamentally different. Yeah. So why are we trying to enforce that on everybody?
It's like Halloween. Halloween was never a thing.
Yeah.
Why? Now all of a sudden, it's now Halloween.
And I refuse.
Because of the movies and things. Now we also know
I refuse to introduce that to my children, because that is not our worldview. That is not our culture.
That's one die, folks.
That is not our value.
Yeah, that's where it started. The Owens were dressing up like aunties.
And for me,
right.
And for me, it's this public system schools for me right now is the scariest thing to put my put my children in. Because I don't know what will be introduced tomorrow. Yeah. Because apparently, sex education is now introduced at grade 4, whatever. Why? Yes, they must learn at some point, but now's not the time. It's like saying, I will give my 6-year-old my car keys because she needs to drive. it's
like
the
that-
same concept.
That Dwayne Wade
She's
thing
not
that was on-
ready.
that was on the radio this morning. And they reckon Dwayne Wade and Gabriella Union are now exploiting the situation of
Yes.
LGBT because it's so widely celebrated and it's the most protected kind of community on earth.
Yes.
And so the story of they being attacked and they this and that, BS, bro.
Victim mentality.
That victim mentality, you can stop with that. I'm being attacked and you can stop with it because you're the most protected. Because even this that I'm saying now can be removed from YouTube completely. That's how protected you are. But God forbid, you can say what you want about Christianity. You can say what you want. You can mock our religion. You can do whatever you want. It will stay online. Nobody will break like in Afrikaans they say, break a tak. Nobody will break their backs about it.
Yeah.
Look at what Megan Fox and her boyfriend, they mocked the Christianity more so even
the table of the Lord.
the table of one of our most sacred things. Even the LGBT community, you mock something that is sacred to us. The rainbow was given on the day that Noah, where
Received
God
the
promised
promise.
that
You
he'll never
never-
flood the earth again. That rainbow is a sign from God. You take it and you pervert it and you mock it. It's a mockery to Christianity. And it shouldn't be.
You take our most sacred figure, which is Jesus
deprive
Christ,
it.
and you make it like it's nothing. Megan Fox and
it frustrates me, bro.
and Machine Gun Kelly, the what they posted on Halloween.
Yeah.
Megan, she's I don't know, BDSM culture or sex culture, whatever the case may be, and he's the priest and he's offering a holy communion, and that's okay.
So now Dwayne Wade and Gabriella Union is being taken to task by people like us that are saying, so ain't like y'all are using this as opportunity because Dwayne Wade is a failed basketball player. Gabriella Union is no more on movies as
Yeah.
popular as she used to be. Now, okay, let's jump on the LGBT wagon.
Yes.
Our child decides to
But
be a
I
girl.
must applaud the mother of the child.
Yes.
I must, because I was actually very surprised to find out that Gabriella Union isn't the mother. She's
No,
the
she's
stepmother.
not. She is.
But I do applaud the mother that stood up and said, "No, this is wrong. I'm the mother of this child, and I shall protect this child." Really,
Yes.
we need more of this going on. It's like Candace Owens was saying this morning that, you know, she something you were watching this morning, that she had anorexia, right? And when she was growing up, it was a norm to say, "But no, this is wrong. This is not healthy for you. We need to get help for you, right? Which means
Yes.
she needs to eat, and there needs to be counseling and all of that." And that was considered love. But in the culture that we live in now, it would be more appropriate to tell your anorexic child, "No, if that's what you're feeling,
Yes.
then you're right. I want to affirm you. Let's not eat."
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening in that. You are telling your child who is now mentally ill, you telling your child now, "No, you are a girl. We need to affirm you. Let's not address the problem."
Yes.
That's the culture that we live in now. But I'm not prepared to do that with my child.
Yeah.
And why must I introduce? I'm so scared of introducing my child to how we normally grew up in mainstream schooling, in government schooling or whatever, and it was normal, it was affordable, but we had wholesome lessons and classes. Now my child needs to be exposed to what gender neutral toilets, and if this person feels like they're a unicorn, you must address them, otherwise you're just the wrongest person in the world.
But this is becoming a joke
deflection
now.
is
Did
a
you hear about
joke.
that child that was barking in class or something?
Yeah.
And the
teacher,
chicken.
And the teacher couldn't say anything, bruh. The teacher had to, that's a mockery, bruh. This is now just
But
beca-
it's
this is now
manipulative. Do you
becoming
know
now
what
a
is
you know
mockery.
what you are doing? Do you know what we are creating actually? We are creating a society of psychopathic, sociopathic,
Yes.
narcissistic children. People, we are actually grooming these
Entitled
children into
kids.
narcissistic
Yes.
adults who can manipulate parents and adults as they wish to, whenever they want to get away with it. Let me show you manipulation at its worst, right? A social media influencer who also identifies as a transgender female by the name of Nikita Dragon, right? Nikita Dragon is at a hotel. Nikita Dragon is prancing around naked. Firstly, it's against hotel policies.
Or public decency policy in general.
Public decency policy, prancing around naked in a public space, not in her in
He's
the
doing-
room.
Because he's actually a man.
Well, in the person's room, right? In Nikita's room. And then you're doing it in a public space at the pool area. The police come based on complaints that was received because Nikita did not want to listen to authorities, didn't obey. The police come and Nikita basically assaults the police officer. Nikita gets locked up. Nikita gets sent to a male prison. Big uproar because they're saying, how dare you? This is infringing on Nikita's rights as a transgender woman or whatever.
Then a man.
The judge finds, identity-wise, Nikita Dragon has not changed his identity to be legally a woman. So now you want to put...
Did
don't know.
Nikita go for a full
We
surgery?
don't know about that. That's the thing.
Because
we
now
don't
you're
know
putting
about that.
a man in a woman prison while he still has his penis. How does that make sense,
Nikita
bro?
asks the judge...
They put a male in a female's prison because he identified as a
And then he
female.
raped the girls.
And he raped and 2 of them were pregnant.
Nikita
Now, how
identifies...
is that alright?
Nikita identifies as a woman, right? Although Nikita is a biological male, identifies as a woman. Nikita asks the judge, so do I still have to stay here in the men's prison? The judge says, look, Nikita, based on all of these... based on the evidence...
Based on science.
And based
science that
on
they like to claim
the law... I cannot send you to a female prison, which clearly shows that Nikita is not legally female. So now, in a situation like that, you see what I'm talking about, manipulation. And this is like you were talking about those depraved minds. Because now you can use the excuse of, yeah, but I identify as...
But what gave Nikita that guts and that go and that arrogance? In the first place,
entitlement.
That entitlement in the first place to think, me, I'm gonna walk around Carl all year now and nobody can say anything about it.
Because I'm trans.
What gave that? Because I'm trans and no one will touch me.
Yes.
Most protected community in the world. No one will
But
touch me.
What's
No
the
one can say
irony in
anything.
all of this?
And look at what happens when the people do say. Then guess who comes to their rescue? The trans community. How can you put them here? How can you?
Yeah.
Because Nikita knows for a fact I can do now whatever I feel like doing, and if there's repercussion to my action, my rebuttal is I'm trans, so you can't touch me.
And you know what's the irony in all of this? A large majority of the LGB community is against this.
Because it's a mockery.
They're against it. They're like, we don't support this.
No,
this
this is becoming a
this
joke now.
delusion. We don't support it.
At which point do we sit and say, guys, man.
Even
Oscar must know
the
nie so
whole
aangaan.
later community is fighting within themselves because
Because the whole thing is based on my feelings and emotions. It's not based on truth. It's not based on facts. It's not based on biology. It's just based on feelings and emotions. I woke up this morning. I feel like I want to be something else, and that's it. You must accept me as I
You
feel.
know what's
in the
scary
morning.
about all of this, right? It's this thing called, and there's a book even called Female Erasure. And this is exactly what it is. It's ironic to me that this community always screams patriarchy and toxic masculinity and misogyny. But the fact that a man can once again infringe on a woman's rights, safety, and
In
dignity.
sports,
How is that
in the
not
toilet.
how is that not is part of the patriarchy?
So-
How is that not toxic masculinity?
So-
How is that not misogyny?
Yes. This is the question I asked the other day, right? We had the whole feminist movement. Sorry, this is now going a little off topic, but we had the whole feminist movement for female rights and all that. Given that there were women, that have been oppressed and all of that, I don't condone oppression or whatever of women. But now we have, remember, men and women are the same, equal, as per the feminist movement. Men and women are the same. Now we have men who are becoming women, who identify as women, and take women jobs, women roles. They want to go to women places, which is, like you said, the female prisons and whatnot. And they're excelling.
And the
in
massage
sports.
parlor like that
Yeah,
one, that woman that came and said, how can you let a man come here? We're laying naked here.
Yes. So that's not toxic masculinity where you feel that entitled
And then
as a man to be a
Antifa
woman.
violently attacks the woman that feel that their privacy was taken advantage of because there's a male in their change rooms walking around naked. Even young children must be exposed to this. Young girls must be exposed to this man walking around naked with his things hanging out. The mothers protest against this. Antifa attacks them.
Let me show you how hypocritical and toxic this LGBT community is, right? When a woman says, I feel uncomfortable that this is a man and you're allowing them in my space. That woman is under attack.
She's
that woman is
transphobic.
called transphobic. That woman is called whatever, all the names in the book that the most protected society in the world can come up with. That woman is now cancelled, right? When a normal human being has a conversation like the one we're having now, we stand a chance of this video getting taken down just by the conversation we're having now, right?
Yes.
So they protected again. When an actual athlete comes forward and says, but guys, this is not right. This is a man and he's busy beating us here. They being taken to task for standing up and saying something is not right here.
They can't even, they must hide themselves.
Yeah. When
They are not allowed. There was one case on What is a Woman, Matt Welch's documentary, where they interview a female athlete. They are banned from the change rooms because a biological male must use their change rooms because they don't agree with the fact that a biological male who has not done gender affirming surgery, has not changed his genitalia. He is still in the full sense biologically of a man, is in their change rooms while they are naked. He is naked, but they get banned from the change rooms.
Come I show you the height of hypocrisy and put a cherry on this whole thing. When somebody comes out, because remember, this transgender surgeries and things is a new thing. It's about a 4 or 5 year old thing, right? When people now start coming, or a little bit older maybe, but when people now start coming out and saying, hey guys, this thing is a flop. This thing is causing this and this in my body. I'm now feeling some type of way that I went for the surgery. I wish somebody told me. I wish my parents warned me against this. I wish this and that and the other. And now more and more people are starting to come out and saying, hey, look here, I made a mistake. I should have just stayed where I was. And I should have just I was mentally ill. I was raped. I was abused. I was molested. I was confused. I was whatever. Then guess what the LGBT community does?
They ostracize
They
those
ostracize that person for speaking again their truth. So how hypocritical is the story of, I'm speaking my truth, my truth. Now when someone comes out and speaks the truth, and it doesn't now align with your agenda, now you ostracize that person. How hypocritical can you be?
You were first protected by the community,
and now that you're turning
under
against
threat.
the community. You're
By
not
the
even turning
community.
against the community. You're just speaking the truth now. You're saying, look here, this thing is coming with side effects. This thing, like that girl that took the things. Now she comes out and she's like, look here, I'm getting a bless. Look here, I'm getting a big stomach, a beer book. This thing is not all it was cut out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole LGBT community cancel. Remove this video from TikTok. Why? Because it threatens the thing that
The
they're trying to
agenda.
protect.
Yeah. If it's all, for me, it's so hypocritical. If it's about inclusivity, why are some people
It's only for
not
some.
included?
It's only for some.
It's crazy. And again, to this female erasure thing that we are talking about, right? There was a recent study that was done that says that there is a campaign to erase references to women. And it's reached new levels of absurdity. It's made for raise in social media, as we know, medical journals itself. I mean, I was looking, we were doing the research. You look at medical journals to see the stats. There is no concrete evidence that even supports their narrative or their agenda. And even federal legislation, and the reason why this conversation is important to have with regards to Sheldon's comment that he made earlier, is because there's this thing that somebody once said, that politics is downstream from culture. If something becomes culturally accepted, it's going to become legislated. It's going to become, we see it now. But perfect examples with the toilets, right? A small group, a minority, can cry that they feel unsafe and that they feel like they're being bullied because they identify as a certain way. These are kids, right? These are primary school kids. These are middle school kids. These are not even high school kids yet. We are talking about primary school for us. Is
But they're not
basically
unsafe, they're the
from
most
grade 1
protected.
to grade 7, right? So a minority is feeling unsafe. They feel like that is where they bullied the most, in bathrooms and whatever the case may be. That community now changes legislation, and everybody else, the vast majority, and the group that is most under threat, which is young girls and women, they have nothing to say. How is that not female erasure? How is that not silencing women? How is that not infringing on a woman's rights? that's my thing.
It
Now
is
they say,
infringing.
and you made an interesting point, Uncle, because I was like, then why? Because this is what the article says in IOL, and this is what some of the guidelines include, right? One of the things is that the guidelines which aims to combat discrimination have already sparked. Oh, no. Where is it now? Individual stalls, gendered bathroom signs, and more cubicles are touted as solutions. But you made an interesting point where you were like, they still going to feel, even if you make a separate bathroom for people, for students who feel like they identify differently, there is still going to be discrimination and bullying because anyone has access to those bathrooms.
To it. You're not changing
You're not
anything.
changing the situation.
You're not helping anything.
You are literally just adding onto the pressure. There we go. South Africa, pit latrines. Most schools, what Xavier said, we have issues of vast inequality in terms of wealth. Vast inequality. There's still schools who have pit latrines, but your focus is on making gender-free cubicles, toilets.
It baffles me. Or maybe it's just a deflection for something that they're trying to hide or something. I don't know. Let's just add more for public people to speak about and to focus their energies on so that we can get away with whatever we're doing. There's just too much going on for it not to be hiding something.
Yeah.
There's got to be an answer somewhere. Because clearly, we can't be that through each other. Ons kan nie so deur mekaar wees.
Just do you want to get in the comments there? We're reaching the closing of this show. Thank you so much for watching up until this far, guys. And thank you for getting involved in the comment section in the live. What is happening?
Laurie Lee says,
What?
Identify
see
as a
that.
chicken.
Identify as a chicken.
now you know how the teacher felt, eh? She says, where I work, the office there's a unisex toilet as well. I never use it when there are males there. I wait till it's safe to go in. This is just going to make things worse in the country. Then Sheldon Banks agrees with Xavier. And then Annalise says, yes, Xavier, this is definitely not America. We have too much going on in SA. Yes, the mother is against this alphabet community. That was when Anka was talking about the mother. Laurie Lee says, I agree with you, Lee, fully, 100%. Yes, gal. Veronique says, someone told my daughter the other day that she looks like a unicorn because she had a rainbow top on. And she said, no, I look like a girl. I blame the adults for planting that crap in children's minds. Then she wants to know, what is Nikita's birth name?
Good question.
And then Laurie Lee says, even in some movies and in places, now there are parents that say, I will let my child decide the religion or who they are. That I have seen.
So what's the point of being a parent then?
There isn't.
Ja, los net alles.
Leave your child maar to also choose why the child wants to eat grass and things. Leave a child there. Child wants to eat sweets for supper.
Xavier for saying it's based on emotion. Then Keegan says, yes, this community is number one in the world. However, Jesus said in Matthew 20 verse 16, so the last will be first and the first will be last. They should enjoy first place for now.
I'm just saying, if I don't tell my child what's wrong from right, they won't have a moral compass. That is my job as a parent. That is how I protect my child and raise my child to become a functional adult. And that includes to instill in them who they are. That comes, I am the blueprint for my child.
Yes.
So if I am not going to instill that they are going to become a unicorn, they are going to become a chicken.
And can I just...
Yep.
Okay, go for it.
You're right.
Can I just debunk also this where the LGBT community wants to associate being gay or whatever to being black? It's not the same struggle. It's not the same thing.
Sure.
Right? Black people can't wake up and decide they want to be white or whatever else. Another thing about how you were born. If you were born that way, it's attached to your culture. It's attached to your heritage. It's attached to your ancestors. It's attached to everything that comes with it. It's attached to innately who you are. That's what it is. It's attached to a lineage of who the individual is. And there's a sense of pride and not that kind of pride. There's a sense of there's a sense of respect and reverence and awe for who you are as a person when it comes to your culture and your heritage. And we take that thing and
we celebrate it, we defend it, and we fight for it.
And there's a reverence for it.
There's a history of our people that fought to still be around as Africans. The most targeted nation is Africans, and we fought for that, and we are proud of that.
So why do we? And this is the same question Ravi asks. He says, why do we then take our culture as sacred, but we don't take our race, our culture, our creed as sacred? How we were born, we take it as sacred, but we don't take our gender as sacred.
Sure.
We desacralize or desacretize or whatever the word is. Our gender.
Desensitize.
Our gender. Because we come out as a man, but we don't take it sacred. We choose, halfway through the show, now I want to change this. You come out as a woman, and halfway through the thing, you feel like, now I want to change this. Why is that not sacred to you? So don't come compare race
and
gender. It's not the same thing. One we deem sacred.
Yeah.
That's why we fight Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
That's why police shoot the black child with for no reason. We fight these things.
Yes.
That's why the people come across Mexico and that's to try and find jobs in America, and they get ostracized. It's their culture. It's who they are.
It's their survival.
It's sacred to them.
Sure.
They can't just wake up and choose to change it. Why don't we take our gender as sacred? And that's my question I want to ask the LGBT community.
Guys, closing remarks for you.
My closing remark is that no, I'm not for this gender neutral toilet, because I'm not going to expose. We live in a sick world as it is. I'm not for adding more to that. And then also, I don't have a problem if that is your worldview. If you want to not have kids because of your preferences, your sexual preferences, whatever, that's fine. But don't impose your worldview on my kids. Because I'll say this, and Andrew Tate said this. They're my kids. They're not the government's kids. They're not your children. It's my job to keep them safe.
Yes.
It's my job to make sure that they will be functional adults and not dysfunctional delinquents one day. It's my job to ensure that. So I'll do it the best I know by instilling the values and the principles that was instilled in us, which is biblical principles, and I stand by it. I stand by it. That's my closing remark.
Cheers for you.
For me,
is that what you said? Your mind changes quick. Just now a chicken, now a dog.
Be like that out here. Now, for me, also I don't agree with the whole gender-neutral toilet system. We see the big problem without a gender-neutral system already. So what more is it going to bring to South Africa? It's not nice to say rape culture, but it is there. It's a culture that's out there.
Definitely a culture.
So what problems are we still gonna bring to South Africa with that? And we need to get to a point where we stop wanting to just be with everyone, man. We need to figure out what it is in South Africa is the problems, like a Kenya president, man. Identify your problems, solve your problems, then maybe later on in the future you can look at first world issues like that. But now you want to be up with the Joneses and all that stuff, and it just brings more problems to the country. So
the elderly would say, yes, jy het die een stront in jou mag en jy
Ja.
wil met die Jones.
And then also like with Sheldon, it's
Thank you for that visual, Leandra.
when good people keep quiet, evil tends to take control.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about these things. Yes, we know
Definitely.
there's much more. Okay, I won't say bigger problems because it's a big problem.
Yeah.
It could lead to bigger problems also. And that's how we got
It's
here
a
in the
huge
first
issue.
place,
It's
because
a
we
huge
kept quiet
issue.
for too long.
Yes.
And now we're at this point.
Yes.
So now if we continue keeping quiet, where's it going to be in the next 3 to 4 years?
Exactly.
And that's why I'm happy that Elon Musk also bought Twitter, because he came out plain down and said, that's where we cancel people with opposing views. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're also
anymore.
against him big time now.
Yeah, of course they're against him, because they the whole time got it right to silence us. So nobody could say, and even people who wanted to say something couldn't say anything,
Like I
because
saw
then your thing gets deleted.
The one person posted like a meme type of thing where Elon standing is by like a stand, and then it's like $8 for
blue check.
Yeah, but then they said $8 for freedom of speech. I'm like, no, this is not $8 for freedom of speech. It's completely
It's
different.
AOC that
You
said that.
still
That's
have
$8 because you want a blue check.
100%.
How does that have to do with freedom of speech?
It's like, come on,
You want to
guys.
be bougie.
But it's always, the arguments are always flawed because there's too many fallacies. You always say it's a house
It's
of
a
cards.
house of cards. That's
But
why they
it's
can't
going to
stand on
fall
anything because
itself.
there's nothing truth about it.
But that's how the LGBT, the later community have been winning their arguments. Why? Because the argument will start out with a point, trying to address a point. Then we go be personal. We go find something else to deflect. Yeah, it's $8 for freedom of speech. What does that have to do? Because the other people can still say what they want to say. They
But
just don't
that's
have
what you're gonna get for
check.
for putting narcissists in positions of power like that. If every narcissist, if you are grooming narcissists and you are grooming, what's that other word? Machiavellianism, which is manipulation, right?
Yeah.
If you are grooming a culture of these psychotic behavior, and these are the people that are sitting at the top making decisions and that are influencing policy, that is what you're going to get. You're going to have a bunch of people that's going to fight each other. And then the rest of the world must be like, yalla khadan, go on, fight, kill each other if you want to, because that is in essence what is going to happen when you are building a house on the sand and you are not building a house on a firm foundation. The waves are going to come, the wind is going to blow, and your house is going to come tumbling down. And you know what's so interesting? You're speaking about as a mother, it's your duty to do this. I want to know, because this is what's happening, and you see the pitfalls, you see the holes, you be poking holes into this thing. You see the holes exposing now and the thing falling apart and basically crumbling, right? You see it happening now. So now when more of these things, more people come out and say that, guys, this was all just a lie, this was all just a scam. These celebrities, Hollywood celebrities like your Dwayne Wade's, Gabriella Union's, even Charlize Theron, most of Hollywood, their children are now transgender. If you look at it, most of your A-list celebrities' children, how is it? How?
Because
That's my question.
They have no
right?
moral
So,
anything to stand on.
Emily Ratajkowski, right? I told you guys about that. She's got a podcast, and she had some lady on the show that dated Kanye West for 2 weeks and banked on it. And so she was on the show, and they talking about their sons, right? And I think her son is like, I don't know, is he a year or 8 months or a year and a few months? Emily's son.
Yeah.
And they're saying, they're talking, and when I'm doing my makeup, and then, he's just there walking around. I think his name is Sly or whatever. And he's like walking around and stuff like that. And sometimes he'll play with my brushes. But he really loves trucks. And it's like, oh, okay. Your son loves trucks. Okay, so what now? She's just so, but that's why this morning I actually ordered a doll and a tea set for him, to bring in the balance, because she is most against toxic masculinity, the patriarchy, and she doesn't want to groom her son into a misogynist because he likes trucks. So how is that not manipulating your son, who is innately drawn towards trucks? The boy can't even reason, but he likes trucks. But now you say you must strike a balance.
Now you want to manipulate it.
Because liking trucks is toxic.
Can I just say this? I know we're gonna close.
We're closing.
That
savior statement.
that don't take it for granted how big pharma makes money. It's the same like with COVID. They push an agenda and they push a narrative because they have the money to push it. That's why you see it in the movies, in the music, in the marketing and everything. They market it. Listen, if you want a business and you want to make money, you put most of your money in marketing.
Yes.
So they marketed COVID to hell and back. Till everyone believe that if your nose runs, you're gonna die tomorrow. That's how they marketed it, right? And they market the LGBT community because you know why? Remember that video we played where she said, look here, if someone comes in for a gender reassignment, it's 100 now. If someone comes, plus they will make him a chronic patient because they must come in every month for this, for that. And then plus sometimes it's botched. Then they must come in again to fix this. Then sometimes this is not going to work. And the reason it's not working, newsflash, it's not natural.
And on that note, we shall end it. Thank you so much for watching up until this point. If you liked anything in this video, please hit that like button and please do share it. We would appreciate that. And then if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, bye.